The female reproductive organs are all located within the body of the female. The main organs of this system are the ovaries.
The two ovaries are located at about hip level. The ovaries are responsible for producing the ova, or eggs. Below the ovaries is the uterus, a pear-shaped muscular organ about the size of a fist.
This is where a fertilized egg will develop over the 9 months of gestation into a child. Connected to the uterus are two fallopian tubes. These tubes each lead to one of the ovaries.
The fallopian tubes are not attached to the ovaries, but are located in such a way that a newly matured and released egg can be easily moved into the tube by tiny cilia located at the end of the fallopian tubes.
The egg travels slowly through the fallopian tube and into the uterus. If the egg is fertilized, then it will embed itself in the lining of the uterus and begin developing over the next 9 months.
If it is not fertilized, it will eventually be eliminated from the body. The uterus narrows at the lower end into a small opening called the cervix. The cervix opens into a wider area called the vagina, or birth canal. At the end of the vagina is an opening to the outside.
A female is born with all the eggs she will ever have. These are undeveloped eggs and can number over 400,000.
During a female's life, only about 500 of these eggs will ever mature and travel to the uterus. Hormones produced by the ovaries initiate changes during puberty, which is the beginning of adolescence.
Adolescence is a period of change that begins in the early teens and goes until about age 20. During this time, a person's body changes from that of a child into that of an adult.
The hormone estrogen, produced and released by the ovaries, causes the following changes during this period: an enlargement of the breasts, the widening of the hips, the growth of body hair, and the maturing of egg cells in the ovaries.
Another important change during adolescence is the beginning of a monthly cycle to prepare the uterus to receive and nourish a possible fertilized egg. This monthly cycle is called the menstrual cycle.
Approximately every 28 days, an egg is released from one of the ovaries and begins to travel down the fallopian tube. The ovaries alternate the release of eggs.
1 month, the left ovary releases an egg, and the next month the right ovary takes its turn. The release of an egg from an ovary is referred to as ovulation.
During this time, the uterus has been undergoing changes. The walls of the uterus fill with blood and become thicker.
If the egg that travels through the fallopian tube becomes fertilized by a sperm cell, then the egg will implant itself in the lining of the uterus and begin the process of development, which can lead to a new life.
If the egg isn't fertilized, it will break down and leave the body with the used blood and tissue that had collected in the uterine wall. This blood and tissue leave the body through the vagina over a 5-day period of time.
This is called menstruation. As menstruation takes place, a new egg is maturing in the other ovary to begin the whole cycle again.
If an egg and sperm cell unite, then menstruation won't take place. Instead, the fertilized egg embeds itself in the lining of the uterus wall, which has been prepared with extra blood.